Hi guys and gals. It's been a little while since I've done a video. I wanted to do a few videos, about GameStop's closings and cool news about the Terminator video game that was announced. But I decided, not to do it. I guess work's funny. Work all these different hours at different times. So a lot of times I didn't get used to. I'm sorry, I didn't get around to doing it. Um, but Today is, if you happen to see any of my other videos, uh, today's the first time that I'm going to get around to doing a pickup video. Um, but there was many times in the future. If you look over my, you know, it's to your left, you'll see like uh, a Mega Man boot. Excuse me, I should position myself. That was a pickup. That was a free pickup. Um, I wish I would have did videos a while ago, because you know I'll do one again once I find a free pickup, and I find it once in a while. Nothing special, but of course, there is for free what it is for free. It's a lot of people get lucky, and usually the good stuff they get for free is given to them. But once in a while, you have people who on Craigslist. There's other places like 5 Mile or those apps where people can sell things like OfferUp, where people give things for free, and even the Facebook Marketplace. Actually, I was amazed to see how much good stuff people give away. I mean, it was a little while away, but it was free, and it was in really good condition. Um, but anyway, I'll make a video about that later, because the truth of it is, uh, I have some rules for that. Um, One, and most importantly, being that you take everything when you get something for free. Actually, um, me and my brother went to a job, and a client's. Uh, he was giving away. Um, I didn't think to do a video of that. I should have did a video, but he was giving away books, and I was like, he had a video game, and I was like, all right, well, I do like history books or certain books, and I decided, I'll take all the books, because there was a video game there, and I was like, I didn't want to tell him no, and I said I can donate them if I want to. That way they don't get wasted, because I hate wasting stuff. Uh, but I got a sports game for the PS2. Wasn't anything special, but still, I mean, a game's a game. Uh, I will say that back in the day, I used to not like sports so much. But I mean, when you get into games, as much as I've tried to, it's like food too, believe it or not. You can get used to it. But, I want to be open-minded about, uh, all sorts of games, what I play, because to me, like I said, a video game is part of the industry, so I don't want to be a person who's like, oh, there are a lot of people that I meet at GameStop, anywhere. It's not just employees, but people in general just are very, oh, they have certain games, they have certain systems that they play, and I don't want to hear anything else is good. But me, anything that helps my beloved industry grow, thrive, survive, um, you know, in any way, shape, or form is worth my time. So, getting off the subject, I'm just saying that, I'm open to that, because there's a few reasons. I want to start a podcast one day. So anything that's involved with that. Um, I just love games. There's so many things I'd love to start with the video game industry. Hopefully one day I'll be blessed to do that. But uh, you know, I just don't want to be with that kind of attitude. I don't want to be someone who I feel is a little ignorant. But it's just human nature. I don't hold it against anybody. But like I said, I wish I kind of think I wish I would have did a video, but it would have been very short. Uh, so what I'm going to do is today, this will, I wish this was, like I said, just like many others, because I did get a few things in the past. Just too lazy to get around to it. But like I said, I work different times with my brother. We work different days. Sometimes we work in the morning, sometimes we work at night. So when I do get time, I just like to relax. And obviously, we got to do things here at the house. We got to clean it. Various chores that have to get done. Uh, use a diesel truck. Unfortunately, they're a little more of a hassle. So I mean, you got to check the oil on that, make sure everything's on the up and up with that because it's your work vehicle. But I like what I do, you know. So with that, thanks for the uh, small little intro there, and I'm sorry about that, but you know, I'm always a person that loves hearing what's going on in collector's life. Um, Now, with that, um, I technically, as hard as some people believe, I've been a collector since I fell in love with video games in the 80s. Um, Now, I was just a kid back then, and I really had, um, you know, I know a lot of people, I'm going to adjust myself here. I mean, every time I say this, people always get, these comparison stories about, I'm not trying to self-pity, but I'm just saying that we have very little money. And everyone's, oh, we do too. I've noticed that with a lot of collectors. I've noticed that a lot were low middle class. Where it's like you can get stuff, but you don't get as much as you want, or maybe your parents can't afford that. I've noticed that too with people who tend to um, make businesses and become rich. I've noticed a lot of them were lower middle class people who just made it. Um, Now, whether I don't know how many of those people were poor, didn't have a lot, but I will say this, that, if it means anything, living poor in America is a lot better than living poor in the world. I mean, when you think about it, we had food, we had all the medical benefits, heck, we even had a roof over our heads. That was, low income everything, you know, we, and other people, they struggle just to have a meal in the same day. We didn't really go hungry, at least not often. If you did go hungry, it's your fault. But I say that because, I look back and I go, in America we were poor, but I said we could have had it worse. So, because, like I said, you're going to have people who are comparing it. Oh, we know it's worse, or I had it worse than you. Whatever. People are like that. Um, but anyway, um, so I've been doing it for some time. I collected what little I could get my hands on. I kept most of the stuff. Sometimes I trade things in. Uh, I wish I had my Atari that I got for free, and it came with a bunch of games. I'll tell it in another story that it ended up being free, but ended up giving it to my mom or my friend's friend, and my dumb mom threw it out. I was not very happy about that. I wish she would have gave it back, but stupid people just throw things out. It's wasteful and stupid, but um, um, so throughout the years, I could picked up as much as I could, what little I could get. I wish I would have had I really do wish that I would have had the resources I do now to have been picking those things up. But on the other hand, now, I mean, um, I really look back and and it's as much as it's hard to say, or as much as it's hard, that pains me to say that, I guess it happens for a reason. Part of that reason, I think, is because now there's it seems like 1 million collectors out there, and some people have been doing it their whole lives. Other people just do it slowly with the intent of collecting. I think other people just love those games, and they just, you know, I've met people who just collected them over time just because, you know, they were there and they were cheap and they just happen to have a collection now. Um, but I'll say that a lot of people are cashing out. You can look at eBay now and see that, you know, even people with, excuse me, you know, 3,000 games are asking for 50 grand. And, you know, that's probably close to where my collection is, but I do have a lot of systems because I love collecting the systems. Sometimes I think more than the games themselves. But, you know, as I uh, grow up with the hobby, I learn more about things that I didn't know about, prototypes and things, and I have a desire to learn more. I mean, I really wish that, you know, at first I wanted to be like a lot of other collectors and learn as I go, but I'm like, yeah, I want to learn more about these, who made them, and, you know, how they came to pass, and really appreciate them for what they are. Um, but I was just giving you a little background on myself. Like I said, if you've seen any other of my videos, you know, assuming you haven't, I've mentioned that I was a collector. Um, I, you know, somebody had mentioned once about doing it full time. Oh, I wish I could do this full time. I'd be one of the only few people who would, regardless of all the, you know, people you put up with. You put up with everybody who sees something. I mean, you put up whenever you put up with people, you put up with idiots, and, you know, people who see something on the internet. Oh, that's what it is, and you can't tell me any different. And there's nothing you can do about it. You know, like I've heard other people say, you just have to walk away, and it stinks, especially when you want something. Uh, the only time I recommend that you don't walk away is when you really want that, or you've been looking for it for a while, and it's like, oh, you don't really want to pay what they're asking, but it's like, just do it. I know it sucks paying a little bit more, but it's just better because then a lot of times you think about it later, and you're like, oh, I wish I would have done it. So it's like, you might as well just do it and not regret it. Um, Also, I love anything. I love anything gaming. It doesn't matter how many I have. It doesn't matter how common it is, how unliked it is, how stupid, how unrare, how rare. I like it all. I could have, you know, thousands of copies of the same game, and I'll be happy about 1,001. I personally just love getting systems with games. I guess because it feels like being a kid again. I don't know, but it's fun. It feels like, you know, you get to play it all over again for the first time. Uh, but anyway, like I said, you know, looking back a little bit, um, you know, I think that's for a reason. Like I said, a lot of people are older now. They're collecting. Some people are selling. Some people, you know, they're doing various different things within the retro community, and so it's like, you know, maybe it's good that I started maybe making myself known at this time at some point, whenever this channel grows and whenever they decide to, you know, watch my videos, because I don't put them up as much as I should, but eventually they'll get there. Um, but so with that, let's go on to what I got. Um, Now, I will say to people, and I've come up with a list. I should probably come up with a little, it's going to be a little more comprehensive list one day. As I get more round, just more fresh in my mind. I might start want to, like I said, I might want to do flea markets, garage sales or something, because I see so many people get stuck with that. And someone said even if they don't list it with video games, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually a good idea, because some people might not realize it, or you know, just they don't list everything, not really thinking. Um, but this is, if you ever watch my videos, if you ever in the future, if you find this video or whatever, as someone who loves collecting any way, any possible way, um, like I said, for me, I'll drive, a little while to get any copy. There's somebody with a $2 copy of Sonic 2 that I would have picked up, but I think they were in Reading or something, so it was like, that's a long time to drive, and I offered to pay for it. I said, look, I'll give you your money if you pay, if you were willing to walk to the post office. I'd throw a couple extra bucks in there for you, and they didn't want to do it. So it's like, well, there's nothing I can really do since I don't want to drive, an hour and a half for a Sonic copy of Sonic 2, even though I'd love to get it. As a matter of fact, I was talking about sports, and I meant to say that I found some supposedly cheap sports games on OfferUp. I'll have to look up the price and what they want them, but because I'm not exactly sure. But I still give sports games a chance. And looking back, just getting up to start it to Tad. Looking back, I've come to like them because they're a lot simpler. But you know, but anyway, with that said, to get back to what I was saying, this is why in my future video that I say that when collecting, explore every avenue. Like I said, people will. I guess I think I've said it, but I really never do. But explore every avenue you can. Any little thing. I mean, no matter what it is, because you don't know what's going to happen. And people, I mean, they just want to do the basics. Flea markets, garage sales, what they feel comfortable with, I guess what they feel fun with, what they feel more is productive. I get that. It makes plenty of sense. But with that being said, here today with this video, because I had another, at least would have been a couple good pickups with this person. Had the second one worked out. But today, if you see this video, and in the future as a collector or someone who just watches it entertainment, a retro collector, learn this from me, as there's many other things you could possibly learn from me, not to toot my own horn, but from every avenue I can explain or think of to collect. And today with that avenue is, if you have a local repair person, someone who repairs appliances or electronics, they're bound to come across some video game systems. As this guy had told me, people, I don't know if it give them to him, or he did say his family members gave him stuff so that he could sell it. But he said over the years, people have given him stuff, and he's just gotten stuff. Maybe he just got it, bulk buys or whatever. But I know I saw someone else on the forum or something like this, like churches or places they'll line up electronics, and this person would go over and check them out, and they got a couple scores. And, excuse me, that may be a little bit different from today. But anyone who deals with electronics, let them know that you're a collector. All right, you're somebody who buys retro video games or just video games, period. Which reminds me, I might have to, I might have to grab, might have to pause this real quick. But this person collects, or you collect video games. I'm going to pause this because I want to grab something real quick, so I can continue with this. But hold on. All right, so sorry about that. I wanted to pause that real quick. Pick up what I found was last, but or part of the pickups. But what I wanted to say was that this person who owns this electronic shop, they had told me that they come across some stuff. I spoke to them before a while ago. They said something about an N64. I said, hey, I'd pick it up, and I'd asked him a couple times, and I don't know if that fell through or he got rid of it. Some time passed, and I went in, and he had a box. Actually, it's right behind me. But he had a box of Nintendo games. I think there were like 31. And he's like, I want 20, I think $25, $25 for 31 games. And I was like, oh, wow, look at this. They're all Nintendo games. And I said to him, how much you want for this? 25. And I'm like, I always try to haggle. So I'll give you 20, or, first I tried, he said that they'd, and I was like, all right. So I came back with some cash, because I needed to get some cash. And I'm trying to remember if, yeah, I came back later with some cash, and I always try to haggle. So I'm like, hey, would you take 15? No, would you take 20? No, 25 is the lowest he'd go. I'm like, all right, fine. So I give him the 25. I got some decent games. I know there was a Mega Man 3 there, Contra. It paid for itself. Nothing heavy, but I got a few decent games there that were probably worth. I'm gonna say at least. Everything was probably worth at least 125, 150 off the top of my head. Um, but like I said, that it was really worth it. But I had asked him how long they were sitting there. I said 6 weeks. About 6 weeks. And I remember giving him my phone number. I've given him my phone number a few times. Like, hey, when you get something, call me. When you get something, call me. When you get something, call me. He never does. I don't know if he forgets, misplaces it. Maybe he just doesn't care. Doesn't matter. Um, but this same guy had a Dreamcast and a bunch of games. And he wanted, I think, 80 for it. 80. And I was going to come back and get it. Like, I was planning, I had the money. I was going to come back and get it, but he was closed because he closes on Wednesday or something like that. And he had, I can't remember what the game was called. It's the police on the front of it. It's like, I can't think of the name. It looks like it's supposed to be with there's like people who are future cops or something like that. And I was like, oh, I don't have that game, because I know I don't have that game for the Dreamcast. And I was like, that's the only game I saw that I didn't have that I remembered. And I was like, well, I still want to get the slot. It's still worth it to me. Well, lo and behold, I came back, I think Thursday or something, and he literally said that he was open Wednesday. He just went in to get some. And someone walked in and was like, oh, cool, Dreamcast, and some games, and gave him the money right away for it. And I was like, damn it. Damn, I wanted that so bad. Because I didn't have that game, and I was like, darn it, I would have played it and hooked it up and all that good stuff. And I was like, oh well. I hate it when that happens. Always when it happens when you don't have the money. Always, every time. So I tell people, when you see it, pick it up. Don't wait. You always regret it. I've heard it from many different collectors. Oh, I wish I would have got that. No, I thought I was going to wait. Just pick it up. Just get it, because then you regret it. So the same guy, I mean, he's getting stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So my friend, sometimes me and I call him, I call him my brother, but he's actually my friend. We work different places. Sometimes we'll work local, and more local that they have an Ace Hardware, and he's got to stop there. So when he stops in there, a lot of times I get out of the truck, I walk to the electronics store, and I say, hey, you got anything, you got anything, you got anything? And this time, it was like a Thursday, I walked over and I asked him if he had anything, and he was like, oh, I got a bunch of stuff, or I got some stuff. And he goes to the back, and I'm like, oh, I was expecting some, like, he didn't say consoles, but he's got like a bunch of various things. So I'm like, oh, because he said he comes with a lot of times with single consoles or just random stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, just a bunch of hookups. And the truth of it is, if you've been collecting for a time, or you happen to see this video, anytime you get a hold of hookups, just buy them. Because a lot of times you get a hold of systems, no hookups in most of the case, and you need something to test them out, or you need something, some people resell, so you need to uh, bundle them with the game systems that, you can up the value as much as you can. But, um, so So I was expecting them to come out with just various different things, and like, oh, some hookups and whatnot. Well, he comes out and he's got the box. Excuse me here. I'm gonna grab this stuff here. And he immediately see, he was nice enough to put rubber bands on. I wish there was more room here. This is probably why people actually use real desks to do their pickup videos, and I can actually show you. That's something I'm going to have to do in the future. But it comes out, and you literally see like this box. Like, you can see the box, it's empty because I emptied it, but he's coming out holding it, and you literally see this on top of it, like at like like an angle, like this. I should say like this. It's kind of at an angle here. So I mean, immediately I got excited. I was like, oh sweet, who can't go wrong with an original Nintendo? And so he opens it up. He looks down, and all I could see is I see a Nintendo game. I didn't quite make it out, but I see this. I see one of these awesome Advantage controllers. Now, I didn't clean up any of the stuff, but that's what I see, and I'm like, all right. And I'm thinking, cool. Let's see what he wants. So I'm asking him. He's like, $20. All right, fine. He must have put it away because literally I was planning on coming back that day, but ended up doing stuff, which made me mad because I ended up running. We had to do some stuff, and I really wanted to go over there and get it. But at the time, I only had a few dollars on me, and we just got paid the next day. So I was like, all right, hope to God that he's gonna have it come Monday or something like that. And because when you get paid, unless you get paid cash, the amount doesn't go through right away. So I wait till Monday, and I go there, and thank God he had it, because I would have never gotten it. I was like, well, knowing my luck, someone picked it up. But I picked it up. I got, so as you can see, I got the Nintendo. I didn't even look in, but as an added bonus, um, there is Tecmo Super Bowl, as you can see there. And I was like, all right, win-win. By the way, I meant to say that it was $20 because I tried to come in. I was like, hey, you got that box? What'd you say it was $10? He just smiled at me. He's like, I need some stuff in there that's 20. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll spend the $20. I don't care. It's worth it to me. I didn't exactly know what was in the box, but the Nintendo game, was this one. Now I think I heard that it's I understand it's compatible. That's the only game compatible. The Operation Wolf with a light gun. I think that's what I think I remember hearing. So I'm gonna test that out sometime. If I don't know if you could really see from the camera, but the Nintendo was kind of dirty. I haven't cleaned it yet, but I'm looking around. So like I said, I'll put these away as I show them to you. But this was in there, and I'm like, okay. Last I remember, this was worth, $20 alone. I don't know if I haven't looked it up. Probably worth it. I know it's at least worth 20, if not more, but they're usually worth about $20, I think. You know, and I could see why. They're really good. They're really very useful. They're really very reliable. Um, so, so let's see here. So looking around, I see the black bag here. This black bag always looks really cool, because you never know what kind of little goodies you're getting in there. But as you can see here, it actually has a label on it. Nintendo. I don't know if it's really focusing here. Let's see, but you can kind of see it, and it's got tape, so I'm assuming it's loose. I don't know, but I think so. But if you look too, it also has Nintendo. I don't know if you can see that there on the corner at the top. So it's a Nintendo brand AC adapter, um, which is pretty cool. Um, so I was happy to see that. I got this is what I looked at last, even though it was obviously there. But I mean, you got the Nintendo brand hookup right there. So I mean, it's all Nintendo. I see somebody was just being a jerk, or this is used really bad. But there's tape all over it. So sometimes people just tape things up because they're bored. But usually, more than likely, it means that something was stripped. You know, not all the time, not exactly all the time, but so you figure that's Nintendo brand. I've seen this. You know, let's see here, Nintendo brand Zapper. I can't remember. I think the gray ones are the first ones that came out. If you see it, you can comment, because that's what I believe. I believe it was the gray ones first, then the orange. Like I said, if anyone wants to comment, they can, because I forget which one it was. And then I also see two original and dirty. I'll wash these off. I really don't care. I mean, part of me just likes to show you, just so you can see, you know, what I got and how they were. Nintendo, uh, two of them, brand controllers. You can just see they're pretty dirty. Now, the funny thing about Nintendo controllers are, you know, as square as they are, I find them very comfortable to be in my hands. And they're not very ergonomical. But if you can, I don't know if you can really tell from this one, but it is yellowed. And so is the Nintendo. And both controllers are like that. So that's, you know, I got a full Nintendo set. I got myself a Nintendo. I got myself 2 games, so I got something to test them with. That's always something I like, because sometimes, you know, if I don't have something available, I should, but I don't have something available. I can't always test the stuff out and know exactly if it works or if it needs to be pin replacements or whatnot. But the cool thing is I got the full set. You figure the hookups, you figure 2 controllers, Zapper, and an Advantage controller. I'm going to say that setup's at least worth 100, if not more. I mean, 100 on the minimum, maybe 120 tops, you know, with the controller. I mean, you figure there's 2 games too, but you figure 120, 130 maybe, you know, with that whole setup there. Um, you know, that's on the conservative idea. Maybe it could have went down, could have went up. But what I love about these boxes is, let me grab this, um, that they're very random. You know, you don't know what you're going to get until you see it. But I've always loved these boxes because they're very random. You get different things on them. I call them little surprises personally. They're very good, at least to me, because there's always things that sometimes I don't have, or things that you can pair up with later, be it cases or loose games, whatnot. Um, but Now this is the first time I'll show these. I got these, I got this, and I also got Assassin's Creed. First time I've got PS3 games or something through these, you know, with retro, like in retro boxes. I mean, sure, someone's probably got them long before I did, but it's the first time, because usually I don't get anywhere near modern games at all. But you know, it's the first time for everything, because I have nothing against collecting any kind of game whatsoever. Um, I don't know what to go with next. I guess I'll try to say what I believe is the best for last, uh, because it's the first time I got one. But this here looks like this is an Atari switch for your old TV, and the back is missing. You can see that, but I'm definitely not going to get rid of it. That's a quick, easy fix. It does look okay, but as you can see, it's the switch, and as I don't know if you can see this here, this literally, um, here it's kind of a little loose here, but it literally, you know, literally old. That's how old the TVs were when you had to convert them. That you had to plug into, I believe, the cable box, either the cable or the antenna. I believe it was, if I remember, because I remember having a TV with that, and you uh, had to hook it up to that just so you could play your Atari. Uh, Now, you know, I was really late in the game. Um, I really didn't get that stuff because I had it, you know, it was just stuff as an afterthought. Like, I remember getting an old TV because it, you know, it happened to, I can't remember where it got from, but it happened to work. And I literally remember it literally having the prongs for the antenna, I believe it was. Comment below if you remember what it was, because I keep saying it's cable, but I don't think it was. It was the antenna, and you had to hook it up to the antenna because it had those prongs. Like I said, these these prongs here, where you had to hook those up, and that's how I figured out how to play the games. You'd have to use this conversion box, because that's how old those games were. That you couldn't hook them up to the cable. You know, later it became a cable thing, and then later, you know, with the AV inputs. But as you can see, there's some screws down here. So um, I think those were for, you know, like I said, I don't know the technical aspects, but I think those for other, if those pieces had to be attached to that or something, if it was like a positive negative type of thing. But other than the back, this piece looks like it's together, and even if it doesn't work, I'm still going to keep it, because they don't come along these, and they're neat things to have to show how much we've advanced um, in TV technology technically, but also how far we've come in video games. Because like I said, I know sometime I had one later, and it was just fun hooking it up to it just to relive the little memories. Um, but I think some people even hang on to those TVs for that reason. Um, okay, so moving on, there's this cable. Let's see here it says. Okay, this cable here. See the cable. I gotta do that. Now you see the ends. I don't know if it's easy to see, but I don't know if you can see it there. It says, it won't focus, but it says Nintendo. So I think this is game. I think this is a GameCube to Game Boy Advance connector cable. If you see this video, you can comment. I think that's what it is, but I'm not 100% sure. But it is Nintendo brand. So now here's the closest I have to a Wii. It's kind of funny because I absolutely despised the Wii because I didn't like the GameCube, so I did not look at the Wii for years. But now, what's funny is I believe this is for the Wii. I think it's the plug here, but uh, what's funny is I actually want a Wii now. Now that they're really cheap, and by the way, you should get them. You know, because they're really cheap now. It seems like $25, and I'm like, I should really get a Wii. I should get one because they're cheap now. This, I don't know if it says booster grip. I don't know if this is like it looks like a Sega. Could be Atari, but it looks like a Sega or an Atari tip. And you see that it's got the backward. I don't know if that's for two-player, but it's you got this. You know, like I don't know what that is, and I don't know if it's for what. Comment if you want, but I'm keeping it because there's always those ideas. As an added bonus, I got, and I'm always happy to get extra hookups. I can never, ever get enough. And here I just realized I got two of them. You know, like I said, I can never get enough. But it looks like a PlayStation AV input. Let's see the wires here. The AV input output. You can see the PlayStation here. You can see the logo. You can see that. I just realized that I thought I just got one. Here I realized I happened to look at the tip here, and not only did I get one, I got two AV input outputs. These, as you know, probably most of you know, or some of you know, that they can be used for all three PlayStations, 1, 2, and 3. So that's really cool. I mean, that comes in handy. You know, like I said, stuff is always a added bonus. I also got AV inputs. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. Here we go. Some of you should know what that is right away. You probably have an idea. I'll let you look. But here it is. I'll give you one more hint just for the hell of it. So you'll know. And then I'll reveal what it is if you can actually see it. It is the original Xbox hookups. So you can tell by what they look like. You know, that cord. It's black. I think the 360 ones are gray. They're a little bit different design, but and you know, I'll just do all the hookups. Even though I feel the hookups are very important. I got a, yeah, I believe this is a Sega Genesis. I believe that is a Model 2 hookup because of the tip here, specialized tip. There you go. That only the Model 2 has. I think the Model 3 might have that too. I'm not 100% sure. And as an added bonus, I got an original, which could also be used for a Nintendo or App Switch. This is Model 1. It's also got, you know, like someone decorated it almost. But this could also be used for a Nintendo, as well as I think a couple other systems with TurboGrafx too, and I think another one that I can't think of the top of my head. Nothing special here, but I think I got football for the 2600, I believe. And I also got Space War. Now, I'm not 100% sure I had this game before. because I don't remember seeing this cover, but I'm pretty happy to get it because I never had it before. So those are all the pickups I got through that one box. And actually, I just forgot that I saved the best for last. And I almost forgot about that. But here it is. I saw the back of it, and you know, I was like, huh. See the back. Some of you might not know just looking at it, but I saw that and I was like, oh, that's a little radio receiver box, some kind. Like it's probably some old electronic box. I'm like, cool, you know, whatever. I'll keep it. You know, it's always neat to have those old electronics. And then I turned to the front, and I was right about the receiver box, because it even says this receiver complies with the parts of the SCC rule. But if you read, it actually says where it's from. If you read, if you can see that, it says, if you can make it out with the camera, it says Atari Inc., Sunnyvale, California. Sunnyvale, Vale, not Ville. And then you turn it here, and it says 2600 remote control joystick, which I think is pretty cool. I have to be, hold on. So, as I was saying, sorry for that break. I guess you won't even notice it, but I didn't even know what it was. But I had an idea, because I remember reading on, I think it was Atari Age, that Atari had come out with wireless controllers, and from what I understand, you need a receiver to have those. So I looked it up, and lo and behold, it goes to wireless controllers. So I was really happy to have that because it's the first one I have, first one I ever found out in the wild. I don't know, I'll have no way to test it, but I went to eBay to see if there was some controllers, and sure enough, there's controllers without a receiver. So maybe one day I'll buy the controllers, or I'll just keep it and pair it up with them and finally get a chance to try them. But I am curious if it actually works. But those are all those pickups for technically Monday this week. I have more, so I'm going to make a video later. This video is a lot longer than I expected it to be, but I hope you watched it. I hope you enjoyed it, and there'll be many more of these videos to come. And look forward to your comments. Have a great day.